Welcome back. Now, before the break, Glomac CEO Datuk FD Iskandar shared with us Glomac's growth and development plans for the year ahead. But with recent announcements being made that will no doubt affect the property sector, are niche players like Glomac poised to withstand the changes ahead? All that in part 2 of this exclusive one-on-one.
Can the government do more to help property developers, and what are some of the possible policy measures?
I think over the years, the government's policies have improved. That one, I have to thank them. However, there are certain things that can be improved further. For instance, I think we should make Malaysia, especially the bigger cities like KL, Penang or Johor, to be more known to foreign investors. We are still cheap if you were to look at regional standards. So by having more foreigners coming into Malaysia, you will see that property prices, it will increase, but at the end of the day, it will also create a larger base. You will get more types of products. I'll give you a very good example. If you were to say luxury apartments around KLCC 10 years ago, that would be a foreign word. People will look at you and say, I can sell an apartment at 1,000 ringgit per square feet. And people will say, this guy is crazy. However, today, that's the norm. Of course, this is supported by foreigners buying into the market. And the figures that I have, last year, according to the NAPIC figures, we only have about 2.5% foreign buying into Malaysian properties. If you were to compare this against Dubai or Singapore, which is at 33 and 37%, we are still at the very low end. And like I said, our properties are at a very affordable range. So we would like to see both government as well as the private sector attracting more foreigners coming in. That's one. Secondly, probably the government could give more incentives, such as first-time rebate for first-time house buyers, a fixed amount. For instance, you can give 10,000 ringgit to a first-time house buyer for any buyer buying properties 300,000 ringgit and below. Because when these people buy, they buy it for occupation. It's not for speculation. They're not investors. They are owner-occupied. Of course, you can look at the reduction of the stamp duty. Interest rates are competitive at this moment in time.
Now, were you surprised that the government decided to impose a 5% RGPT starting next year that was announced in the recent budget? And will this have an impact on Glomac's operations?
RPGT, the real property gains tax, is not something new. Real property gains tax is something that I think developers or the market, we are aware of that. It's only in 2007 that the government decided to waive that. They never decided to abolish RPGT. They decided to waive that for a certain time. So now it has came back at 5%. I don't think it will impact the market greatly. Personally, I don't think it. Of course, I'm quite disappointed that it has came back personally, but probably the government was trying to prevent some speculative buying, probably. But 5% for serious buyers, it shouldn't impact them. They will still buy. However, I hope that the government will look at the tenure of this RPGT, the effectiveness of the RPGT period. Let's say if you have owned the property for more than a certain number of years, let's say more than 5 years, that means you are not in the market to speculate. That means you actually bought the property, you stayed there, and after a certain time, you want to sell this property because you need the money to upgrade yourself to a better dwelling. So in this case, we hope that the government will actually zero-rise the RPGT, maybe after a certain year. 5%, I don't think it will impact the market that much. And because it doesn't impact the market that much, I don't think it will impact Glomac that much either. Serious buyers will still buy. It will only deter the speculators. In every development, it's healthy to have a little bit of speculation, 10% or so. But if you have the other way around, which is 90% speculators, then your project is in trouble.
Yeah. Do you think that the government is afraid that a housing bubble is forming with the low interest rates?
Well, first of all, I think we are a totally different market. Malaysian property market is a totally different animal compared to Singapore or Dubai, which I mentioned just now. There, the degree of speculation is much higher, and you can see the increase in property prices there. Scary, actually. It's good for property developers, but yet it is quite scary for consumers. Here, we don't have that. We really don't have that. You know, we don't have a bubble. You know, that's why I have always maintained property prices in Malaysia, we go up at a very steady rate. You know, we don't go up 30-40% 6 months after launch or something like that, unless it is a very, very new or great location. Yeah? You hardly see people queuing up for property launches. You know, probably you read about it once a year. In the last few years, I don't see any, except for maybe 1 or 2 developers who've got niche projects in very good location. This is a norm in Dubai or Singapore. People actually queue up, you know, for property prices. And the moment you get the property, you can on-sell it to the market at a premium. You don't get that in Malaysia.
Thank you so much for your time, Datuk Iskandar. Very insightful. Thank you very much for joining us on Stockwatch.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
And that was Datuk FD Iskandar, CEO of Glomac Berhad. Right, and so we come to the end of Stockwatch for tonight. If you have any questions about investing that we can help you with, please don't hesitate to email us at stockwatch@tv3.com.my. Also, don't forget to catch any interviews you may have missed on our show at our new blog, stockwatchproducer.blogspot.com. On behalf of our team, have a great investing week ahead. Until next week, same time, same channel. I'm Shani Imanli. Good night.